The question becomes, who will be the new leader of the United Kingdom? And I do not mean the Prime Minister. There's an existential question for the UK right now happening over, I would say, the next decade, whereby there must be a choice. An identity, a pursuit, a direction has to, by pressure, by strain, by the very essence of time itself, pushing in on the UK, a choice, a decision. Now, this could go completely in one direction of the America dictating that the UK becomes more or less a client state, thus abrogating all personal responsibilities. The king, after the probably mandate for a republic, gets completely dethroned, and you have what is effectively the United Unkingdom, the United Republic, in which case you would obviously have a culmination of events in which the UK, as we know it, becomes mostly probably referred to as Great Britain, and thereby ruled ostensibly by America. I think on the other direction you have what is a powerful figure rise to the top and actually take charge and run the UK to its former, albeit a shadow of itself, glory, in which it takes charge of who it is and what it wants, and sets a direction that's purposeful. Whether you think this is possible or achievable or not is basically down to how feasible is it that there is a single man out there with both vision, charisma, the strength and fortitude, the mettle to be able to grab a hold of what is a loose horse, bucking and braying and running around, taming it and pointing it in the direction they want to go. It's not enough to rely on all of these exogenous variables to dictate your domestic policy. The UK exists as a nation of smaller nations, basically, whereby there was a very guiding force which glued them all together in this fabric. And what you might call diversity, and in a functional way, this mosaic of peoples, the Scots, the Irish, the Welsh, the British, and numerous other populi. All of these came together to form what was the greatest country the world has ever seen, empire the world has ever seen. And in that, you had what was a soul. Now, a soul will always decay and die, and it was, in this instance, replaced, but transplanted by America as the hegemony, and in that, obviously, both the soft and hard power, it became basically a second or third rate nation. But it still maintains its legacy of importance, and that has a echo into how we can consider the importance of it as a place. So Iberia in the Roman Empire still had a place, even though it wasn't the center of the empire anymore. And Dacia and Greece, these were all separate locations from Rome, but still a part and an important role in making up what was the whole. We can still think of America at the moment as the Italian shoe, the motherland of Faustian culture, or Faustian civilization, I should say. So it's still a much more important place to be aware of and understand politically. Americans are just the forefront and the dominating force in our lives, and that's something we cannot gloze. But the importance of the UK, I think, is not to be understated, even though I have called them a third-tier nation. That's still quite important when we start tiering nations of importance to nations of no importance. And in that, I think we can just consider the fact that in the next 10 years, there will be someone who will need to step up. Otherwise, America will just subsume the UK into itself, and that will be formal. That will be pressure to call for a republic, a referendum, and then in that there will be a dismissal of the, by and large, ruling family that has been the case for the last 1500 years, and in which case you will have a new venture, or a new edition of what is just the American expansion. And in that, I think we will all be worse off rather than letting a homegrown British or English citizen become the regional, parochial, provincial Caesar.